Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kelsey and today I am here with some spooky-ish fall recommendations.
Oh hi, thanks for checking in. I'm still a piece of garbage.
This collection of books are some of my favorite books of all time. I'm not super into horror, but these books here definitely give off some spooky vibes. So I'm here today to help you with your fall vibe, help you with your fall reading. Let's get into it. So if you know me at all, you know that the English major in me really hates the literary canon. And by the literary canon, I mean books written by straight white men.
What is it? A white man? No!
And so the two classics that I have here for your fall recommendations are not by straight white men. And before each and every reason why I think you should read it, I want to read you the first line of every book because I think that that's part of the reason why I love these books so much. So the first book I have for you all is Beloved by Toni Morrison. The first line of Beloved is, 124 was spiteful. Like, don't you want to read that? Beloved follows an escaped slave named Sethe who, when she's in Ohio, can't stop thinking about the place where she was born, called the Sweet Home, where so many horrific things happened to her. She also believes that her new home is being haunted by the ghost of her baby who died nameless and whose tombstone just has the word beloved on it. I absolutely love this book. I read this when I was in school studying classics written by women and that are not considered in the literary canon, and I highly recommend this. If you are looking to read Toni Morrison, this is one of my favorites from her.
Editing Kelsey here. Sorry for the shitty camera quality on my MacBook. It's just how it's gonna be. So I wanted to talk about the literary technique used in here that I feel makes the book creepy and perfect for fall vibes, which I didn't even talk about. The novel overall has this very big sense of dread, given the main character, given the situation, given the topics that I want to discuss. But it also really subverts the haunted house genre. Basically, what Toni Morrison did is really use the themes and elements in haunted house horror and used it to push forward the narrative of Sethe's escape and all the horror she needed to do in order to live a life of freedom. It was extremely well done, and that's partially why it is one of my favorite classic books.
And the next book I have is The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. My absolute favorite classic. Oscar Wilde is my babe. So The Picture of Dorian Gray follows a young man who is described by his friends as the pinnacle of beauty. He is youthful, he is hot, he's everything that they want to be. Dorian then becomes obsessed with this concept of beauty and his own beauty relying in his youth. Within his house, he has a portrait of himself at the age that this book begins, and over time, as his friends and everyone around him is getting older, Dorian remains the pinnacle of youth and beauty. The studio was filled with the rich odor of roses, and when the light summer wind stirred amidst the trees of the garden, there came through the open door the heavy scent of the lilac, or the more delicate perfume of the pink flowering thorn. I think this book is the pinnacle of autumn vibes, spooky vibes, but it also really goes into depth about beauty, about nature. It's just so incredibly interesting and fascinating, and I highly recommend this. Next, I wanted to throw in some YA novels that I absolutely adore and think are spooky and fall vibes. The first one is The Sawkill Girls by Claire Legrand. This one follows 3 girls who live on an island called Sawkill. On this island, a lot of the kids that live in the village always whisper about how some young teenage girls disappear every so often on the island. The girls have been disappearing for decades, taken by this insidious and ravenous monster, or what they believe is an insidious and ravenous monster. It has been happening for a long time until the events of this novel. Sawkill Girls' first line is, "Everyone knows about the island of Sawkill Rock." This book has so much great rep in it. The writing is really phenomenal. This book shook me, took me for a turn. I really didn't even think I was going to like it. The atmosphere, the writing, the prose, this book is phenomenal, and I highly, highly recommend, if you haven't picked it up, to do so. I could not do this video without recommending my favorite author, Victoria Schwab, and specifically her series, The Savage Song. Now, I think those are all the books I have of her. I think all of her series really have these autumny vibes, but I went with This Savage Song because I think it really like encompasses the vibe that I'm going for this video. This series follows two characters, Cade Harker, who wants to be as villainous and as savage as her father is, and it also follows a boy named August Flynn who wants to be human but isn't. The world in this novel is basically the city is kind of overturned by monsters, and Kate's father is the one that kind of keeps them in check, keeps the humans safe from the monsters. And the way monsters are created is that every time a crime is committed or something like truly villainous in nature, a monster spawns from that crime. So the first line of this book is, the night Cade Harker decided to burn down the school chapel, she wasn't angry or drunk. She was desperate. Come on. If you want to know why it's called This Savage Song, I would highly recommend this book. I think it is truly one of V.E. Schwab's most creative books, so please give this one a go. Then I also picked two of my favorite thrillers. I knew I wanted to put Gillian Flynn on this list because she is one of my favorite thriller writers.
I'm a savage, yeah. Classy, bougie, red.
So I decided to put her debut novel on here because I think it's truly a reflection of her brilliant writing. So this is Sharp Objects. This follows a journalist named Camille. After a brief stay in a psychiatric hospital, Camille has to return to her hometown to cover the deaths of two teenage girls. For years, Camille hasn't spoken to her neurotic mother. Once in the small town, Camille finds herself identifying with the two girls who have passed really strongly, and the story develops from there. First line. My sweater was new, stinging red, and ugly. This book is so short, it's 250 pages, and I think it's truly immaculate. I would also recommend the show that had Amy Adams on it, I believe. I just think this story is captivating, really interesting, and I highly recommend if you're looking for something really fast-paced and really quite spooky and has an ending that I think you wouldn't expect. Then I have one of my absolute favorite books ever, Night Film by Marisha Pessl. Night Film begins when the daughter of a recluse director named Ashley Cordova commits suicide. However, there's one journalist named Scott who doesn't believe that the death is as simple as the media is portraying it as. And as Scott wants to uncover the truth, he dives into the spooky and outlandish world of the recluse director and father of Ashley. I was going to call him Francis Ford Coppola, but that's not his name.
I'm Corleone and give me justice.
And so he dives into the very twisted world of the father of Ashley, the recluse director, Stanislas Cordova. The first line of one of my absolute favorite books of all time. Everyone has a Cordova story, whether they like it or not. I mean, come on, guys. The writing in Night Film is absolutely astonishing. I think the development of the plot is crazy good. There's twists, there's turns. It's so spooky. There were some nights where I needed to put this book down because I was so afraid. I think the ending is totally worth it. The way Marisha Pessl plotted this book, if you don't read this, I don't respect you. So these are the 6 books that I recommend you guys pick up for your fall reads. And I really tried to pick some books that could work for beginners, could work for YA readers, classic readers. I really tried to go really in depth in what I've enjoyed over the years and pick some books that I feel like really encapsulate fall vibes. I mean, most of them are red, you know, or yellow. Like, could we get any more folly? I don't think so. This is the end of the video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, ring the notification ring the notification bell. If you hate any of these books, let me know in the comments because I love to debate. If you have any other fall books that you think I would enjoy based on my tastes, please let me know. That's it. I don't know how to end these things, so I will see you next time. Bye.